Alright guys, we're back here. Got our band joist in. It's all attached to our mud sills. So next step is all the floor joists. We've got our layout on here. So it would be pretty easy just to put in all your floor joists and glue them down. You wouldn't have to do any cutting. So it'd kind of be a piece of cake. But we're going to make it a little harder. We're going to put in a stair opening. So we're going to have to double up some floor joists and put the trimmer joists on there and head them off as if we had like an imaginary stair opening. So if you can see our plans right here, this is our plan. This wall right here, this center wall, that's a center bearing wall. Now that center bearing wall is going to have to be directly over our center girder, because you can't have a bearing wall sitting on floor joists like without support underneath it. I mean, you could, but you'd have to design those floor joists and they'd have to be really beefy to take that extra load. So so if you're looking at your plan like this, that's the way your floor is going to be. So we are going to frame a little stair opening right over here in this room. We're not going to really cut a hole on the floor, but we're just going to do it just for the exercise of having it. So in order to have a stair opening in this room right here, we got to see our layout. So stair opening typically will be 3 foot wide, which in 1/12 scale, so 1 inch equals 12 inches scale, that's 3 inches. So we're going to start our stair opening with this joist right here. Hopefully you can see that. Yep. This joist, we have an X right there. So this one we're going to double up, and from here we're going to go 3 inches right from there, and that'll be close enough. So that takes us basically to the outside of this joist right here. So this one will double up as well. Alright, so this one is doubled, and then from that mark we're going to measure over 3 inches, and this is our new layout mark for this one. So let's start with those. So we're going to have 2 here on this layout mark. This one is here. Over here we have a double joist on that layout mark. So we're going to need 2 headers, 2 doubled headers here and here. And then this will be a cripple floor joist, this will be a cripple floor joist, this one will be a cripple floor joist, and this one will be a cripple floor joist. So we can get our headers and our cripples out of the same pieces. So let's measure what we need here for our headers. So our doubled headers are going to be maybe a little 2 3/8 heavy. So we're going to need 4 pieces at 2 3/8 heavy. So using our combination square, we can set that to 2 3/8 heavy. I'll make these 2 cuts and then mark another 2, cut them, so I'll get all 4 header pieces out of 1 floor joist. Okay, so we've got our 2 headers cut right here. So those are going to be doubled, and you could nail them with your little tiny nails, but I'm just going to glue them together and use some Scotch tape and let that glue set up for a bit. We're also going to have to do our double joists. So line those ends up nice and flush, glue those together and tape them and set them aside. And then probably by the time you get back to them, that glue will be dry. You can peel the tape off and install them. Okay, on these doubled floor joists, you only need one end to be flush. So if your floor joists are like slightly different length, just flush up one end here, keep it flush along the top, and that's good enough because this end will just lap inside the building, and if they're not quite the same length, it's okay. Okay, so here's our doubled joists for our stair opening. Now we need some cripples. We're going to need 2 cripples here, one here, like right to there, to the header. And we're going to need, so if our headers are in there, there, and there, we're going to need cripple joists here and here. So normally the run of a stair opening all depends on your stair. So how far you've got to go down to the next floor, and the tread depth and tread height will give you a number that you can calculate your headroom, because there's a minimum headroom as you're walking down the stair. But we can't really do that in small scale, especially because we don't have a basement. So we're just going to kind of make it up. So if we put our headers here, and we'll put a header here. We need to transfer those marks over to our other floor joists right there. Alright, so both of our headers are laid out on these two floor joists. So now we can calculate our cripples, the length of our cripples. So these two cripples are going to be looks like 1.15 inches. These two cripples, because I have the layout mark there, these two aren't as critical because this end kind of laps over, but we'll just make them the same length as that. 1.15 and these two are 2 1/8. So I need 2 at 1.15 and 2 at 2 1/8.